People are still moving to Utah in big numbers, and so why is that? But more importantly, where are they coming from? For those living in Utah, we always talk about how so many people are moving here to Utah from California, but more people collectively come from other states outside of California, and I find it really interesting to see what states people are moving from, because it really helps me as a local Utahn, but also a real estate agent, understand what people are coming from and what they're looking for. So in this video, I'm going to share the top 10 states that people are moving from and coming to Utah, along with the data and how many people have moved here in just the last year. This is the most recent and updated information. And with that said, let's roll. Okay, to start off, if we haven't met yet, my name is Scott Steele. I'm a local Utah real estate agent, but I love helping people discover all things Utah, including Utah real estate. And if you're looking to make a move here, this is the perfect place for you. And I have lots of different things that I like to share here in terms of the communities, as well as the neighborhoods and the housing, of course, and other information that people are looking for when making that move. So if that's you, reach out to me, call me, text me, or email me anytime. I am the one that answers those calls and those texts. And if you have any questions, reach out. And with that said, let's get started with the video. Okay, so the new data is out and it shows the exact data for how many people moved here in the calendar year of 2022. And in 2022, Utah saw an influx of 91,341 new residents. So the next question is, where did they move from? So here's a breakdown of the top 10 states that are feeding Utah's growing population. So you'll see on this list, California tops the list with 18,669 new residents moving to Utah. And that's pretty expected, knowing, not only the proximity of California to Utah, but California is the most populated state in the country. So it only makes sense that the most people that move here to Utah come from California. And of course, there are other reasons why people move here as well, but ultimately California is one of the main places, in fact, the number one place that people move from when moving to Utah. And just to go down the list, we can see Washington here at 8,845 new residents moving to Utah, Idaho close behind with 7,774, Texas feeding Utah with just over 7,000 new residents, and moving down the list, Arizona with 5,300, Colorado with 5,300, followed by Nevada and Florida with just over 3,000 people moving to the state of Utah. And to top off the list, Oregon with 2,400 and New York with 2,200. So with that new data, what's the next question? For me, it's why are they moving here to Utah, first of all? And number two, what does that mean for locals and people who already live here? What's happening next? How does this impact our lives as well? Because Utah has been the fastest growing state since 2010 in the entire country. And so one of our biggest struggles here in Utah is extreme growth followed by water scarcity. And so those two things play hand in hand, and they are at the top of the list in terms of the concerns that we have as a local population, as well as local government, in how do we tackle these issues, because this is not slowing down and people are continuing to move not only to Utah, but the Intermountain West as well. We see similar growth happening up in Idaho, in the Boise market, as well as just east of us in Denver and other cities throughout the Intermountain West. And for me, when I think about why do people move to these places, especially from California, the thing that sticks out the most is the policies that we have in place that help impact our lives for the positive or the negative. And a lot of those people are choosing to leave California to go find a new place where it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg in taxes to live and to build a family and grow a life together. And the bottom line is Utah is a really business-friendly state, but it's also a really good place to raise a family. And I think that is the biggest draw, besides the fact that we have amazing outdoors here and an incredibly strong job market. In fact, it's the #1 job market in the entire country. And with keeping all of these factors in mind, the growth is not going to slow down. And as a real estate agent who helps clients every single day make that move here to Utah, I see one of the biggest problems being housing. In fact, not only purchasing homes, but renting homes as well. Rental demand as well as purchasing demand has never been higher in the state of Utah, and we're not seeing prices decline in our real estate because the demand is just so high. So the topic of affordable housing in Utah is of utmost concern. In fact, it's the #1 thing on my radar in terms of millennials and Gen Z, both looking to make massive purchasing decisions here in the coming years. I think it's only fair to the next generations to figure this thing out and figure out how to make Utah housing more affordable. And as part of the 2024-2025 budget proposal, the governor of the state of Utah, Governor Cox, proposed a pretty elaborate and pretty extreme example of what that might look like. So let's take a look. As part of his 2024-2025 budget proposal, Cox unveiled an ambitious plan for the state to build 35,000 starter homes by 2028. It calls for a $150 million investment, including an additional $50 million for the first-time homebuyer assistance program launched last year that subsidizes the purchase of newly built starter homes. In essence, he wants to see 35,000 starter homes built within the next 5 years. That's a really ambitious plan, and it's also a really crucial part of the equation when we consider both demand as well as the supply sides. And so what he's proposed is to help balance things out by increasing the supply. So during the most recent building boom throughout the pandemic, Utah made up significant ground on its housing shortage, shrinking the gap from 56,800 units in 2017 to 28,400 units in 2022. In other words, that shortage that we experience here in terms of total units was effectively cut in half just in the last few years. But as home building activity is expected to contract, new households will outnumber new housing units. Consequently, the housing shortage will likely increase to over 37,000 units by 2024, according to a September report from the University of Utah's Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute. So what does that mean for housing? It means the shortage is going to start getting worse because now the building boom has stopped, but also with continued record net in-migration as well as the birth rate here in Utah, we see nothing but growth. And that, coupled with high interest rates, has created an even worsening housing shortage and fewer properties that people are willing to sell. So as we enter into 2024 here in just in the next couple of weeks, what does that mean for the rest of this decade? Well, according to the experts, right here it says they expect that this shortage to last throughout the entire decade. And as a real estate agent, when we have a housing shortage, what does that mean to prices? It means prices are going to continue to rise throughout the decade. So if you're looking to make a move to Utah, if it's something that's on your radar, or perhaps you've already moved here and you're looking to land in a new spot, please reach out to me. I would love to be your real estate resource of choice, because if you purchase that real estate here in Utah now, in the coming years and the coming decade, you will see a lot of appreciation in that real estate over that time. And just like many other places throughout the Intermountain West, the appreciation in the real estate market here will be extraordinary. Lastly, I've created an entire system and a guide to help people relocate to Utah. I am really in tune with what people are looking for, what they experience, and I speak with people each and every single day that are or have made that move, and I know exactly what people are looking for. But if you visited Utah and whether you found it appealing or not, leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts about what your favorite things are, or perhaps even the things that you didn't like about the state of Utah. And with that said, if you want to learn more about moving to Utah, check out this video next. And until the next video, thanks guys.